only 18% of women can orgasm through just penis and vagina. 18%. That is barely any. Like, I'm not one of the lucky ones. Like, if I don't use my fingers, or if I don't like make him use his fingers or whatever while that's happening, no chance in hell that I'm orgasming, like zero. Welcome to Let's Talk About with Lili and Lu, the podcast in which we are going to discuss with you everything that a multidimensional woman in the 21st century go through, in hopes that we can break some taboos together. But first, we always start our episodes with a confession corner, because Lu and I have actually never met in real life. And that is why we're like modern day priestess. So we start with a confession corner. And I think that for this episode, Lu is going to kick it off. Take the floor.
I'm ready. Okay, so as we can tell, I look cute today.
Oh, yeah, you do. Oh, yes, let's start with
I
that.
have makeup on.
Yes, you look cute.
I'm going to a surprise birthday dinner party. That one.
Okay.
And so I think I am going to wear my first pair of heels that my housemate gave me in like 4 years.
Aren't you a stripper? Don't you dance on heels?
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
It's very different. We are on
Busted.
platform heels. I do dance on 8 inches heels, which is really high, but with the platform, it doesn't feel the same. But I'm that dancer that like by 11 midnight, we start at 9, we finish at 4 a.m. by the way. I'm like holding on to every table and chair I can find so I don't trip on myself. That's me.
Oh, you such a beauty.
I don't even know if I can drive. So we're going to figure that out today.
Like by the end of the night, you're like, take these heels off. I can't anymore.
I'm always barefoot. That's
how
really? I my parties in France. Yes. Barefoot.
In the club, you take your heels off?
Yes, I did. I have no shame.
I love that. I love that. That would make me laugh if I saw that. I wish I could come to your club. So yeah, my confession is
what
that
about you?
Today we're talking about body count. Sorry, I didn't introduce that properly, but we are talking about body count, and I can't lie, but my palms are sweaty because yes, I know that, and I don't really care about what other people think normally, but this is such a topic where there's so many, this taboo on this is so big that I'm a bit nervous to break it, but I'm excited, and I think we need to talk about it more because it is a really important subject. And I know that a lot of people, men and women, feel caged by this concept of body count. So, Lu.
And shamed. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Lu, can you tell me where body count comes from? Or for you, where it comes from?
Yes. Body count, AKA the number of sexual partners we've had.
Oh, true. Yeah.
By the way, personally, I remember I think I was 19, and I had a late start to my, what do you say, like
sexual awakening.
Yeah, sexual awakening, let's say.
Me as a
late
sensual
start compared
goddess.
to the people around me, basically. Yeah, and so I watched this movie called What's Your Number with what's the dude name, Chris Evans and Anna Faris, is it?
Yeah,
I don't know. I Googled it before, but I can't remember already. But anyway, what matters is she reads this magazine article when they say you need to have found your husband by 20 partners, and all her friends are between 5 and 7. And then she's at 19, and she literally just starts freaking out and goes back to contact all of her exes to find her husband because she can't have someone new. She needs to go back.
Actually,
and so I'm
now
like,
that you
oh my
say
God,
this,
what am I on?
Yeah.
And I started counting mine, and I freaked out as well. I was just like, I'm literally 1 or 2 over. What do I do? I'm 19.
I'm only 19 and I'm at 22. I'm never going to find a husband.
Yes.
So yeah,
pretty much.
I actually remember this movie as well. And I remember that that's when, for us, the term recycling came in.
What is that?
That is so like, I just remember this. So like recycling sexual partners. So like going over your list and thinking like, oh, who could I have sex with again so that you don't have a new number on your list? I didn't remember this until now.
I've never heard this or done this.
I've never done it either because there's a reason that I left those people in the past. I want them to be in the past.
Good for you.
Yes, but I remember like that we talked about like, oh yeah, I should start recycling a little bit more.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember this is when I started being very ashamed of my sexuality and counting. So I have good memory, and I like my memories. So for me, it was just like, oh, like, yeah, I had a good night here and a good night there, because most of my experiences or flings are one night stand since I haven't had a partner. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna count a bit like a black bookkeeping. Hey, that's fine.
That's cool. Do you still have that?
I still do. I used to actually be ashamed of having that, and then I realized, you know what? I talked about it with friends. A lot of us have them, and a lot of us do not remember any like people and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't update it like every time I sleep with someone, but sometimes I'll just like take it out and look back at it or add a name or something and be like, oh, okay,
is it on paper or is it on your phone?
Paper.
Really?
It's actually a very horrible list, and it's like a paper that's all mashed out and tore apart. I could probably write it properly.
I love that. So yeah, for me, and do you want to disclose your body count, by the way? If you don't want to, you don't have to.
So like we've said we're gonna like talk about the next episode anyway, or like introduce it about consent. I had a bad experience, as you know, in like April, like a predator kind of thing. And I disclosed my number on Instagram as a way to say, basically, I was at 47 and only one had made me feel comfortable and respected the whole way through. So it was a little bit like, oh shit, every single one of my partners, whether it was parties, drunk, or just even guys that I wanted to have sex with, it was never really, it never felt like it was really consensual the whole way through. But that's another subject. But
exactly.
So
that's for next week. So okay, cool. And
what about you?
Well, I don't keep a black book anymore. I used to. So like I said, after that movie, I was also like, oh, fuck. I'm going to start keeping a black book. And I first had it on paper, but then I moved away to live in Thailand for a year on a party island. And I worked in nightlife there, as in like I was a host for a party. And I remember keeping the black book, like the rest of it, in my phone. And then at some point, I deleted that list off my phone by accident. And I remember being so upset because there was no way at that time I was at 65, I think, something like that, or around like 60, 70. And I know for a lot of people that sounds like a lot, but hey ho.
It's very personal to the individual. So
exactly.
I thought my number was a lot.
Yeah, well, in Dutch we would say baas boven baas. No kidding.
I don't know what that means.
And so that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And so yeah, I must be well over 100 right now. Woo! And woo! Do I get like a trophy for that or what? No. Okay, so yeah, but what we talked about a little bit before this as well, or like what you just said, kind of like the consent thing, but yes, the number might be high, but it should be, in my opinion, it should be quality over quantity instead of like focusing on that number so much. It should be, okay, but how were the experiences? And in my case, I wouldn't take back, or I would take back some of them, but most of them, I had fun. Like I was enjoying my life. I was single. I was ready to mingle. No kidding. I was out there. I was going out. I was living my life. And the people that I met, I liked the chase, but in some points, or in some cases, the chase was more fun than the actual thing.
Yeah, I feel you, I guess.
Do you have the same experience?
I understand it. I'm trying to see if I had the same experience, but it's hard because I talked about this openly, so I don't really care. But yeah, I didn't have like sex sober until I was 22.
Oh, damn.
So for me, like at that time, from 19 to 22, that's like 4 years of never being able to talk or like be intimate with a guy without alcohol. And not that I needed it, but I met them at parties because this is how I lost my virginity, and it kind of just happened. So when I'm looking back, I don't regret anything except for that person in March. But it's like they all made me who I am. But also, if I could do things differently, I probably would. Because I've learned a lot about myself since then. And I took a whole year off, pretty much 3 years off since I arrived to Australia. So it's kind of a bit needed to reclaim my power and my sexuality and
so then not feel shame. I feel like what people now count is P and V, like penis and vagina, as their body counts, which is stupid, because what if
oral?
What about oral? What about
or
like all exactly. What about all the other stuff? Like if we only count P and V, how are all gay people on 0 then, or like on way less than heterosexual
people? It excludes people from the conversation, first of all. And also it's just like, especially for women that can't come from penetration as well, or like only, it kind of limits everything to just like, if you're only at oral with your partner or something or someone, then that doesn't count.
And if we only focus on P and V, then only 18% of women can orgasm through just penis and vagina. 18%. That is barely any. Like I'm not one of the lucky ones. Like if I don't use my fingers, or if I don't like make him use his fingers or whatever while that's happening, no chance in hell that I'm orgasming, like 0. So if we would just
I need to mix as well. I'm not the 18% either.
Yeah. We're not there. No shame. Love it. Which makes you more creative, in my opinion. Or I got way more creative.
Ooh, I like that. Interesting.
But what if we would not count P and V, but we would count the quality? How many people would you then be on?
And then you can cross the ones that you're not happy with.
Exactly. As in, like, what if you would just
make your own list with what you're happy with? Yeah.
What if we just counted the people that we wanted to remember? It would be nice that obviously 100% of the people that we slept with would be someone that you wanted to remember. But I have definitely have like a handful of people that I'm like, nah, it would have been nice if I didn't make you.
I think it's very common for everyone, but especially for women, to have experiences where you didn't want to. But that's another conversation as well. And we have to remember that no matter what number anyone is on, you or me have that same. We are completely different numbers, completely different lifestyle, or like life when you were experiences when we're younger. We're not defined by that number. Like that doesn't change who we are.
No, exactly. It doesn't make, or it doesn't define who you are as a person. And the thing also, what comes in there is the difference. I know that there's a lot of men listening to this podcast probably, and hopefully. And the thing is, like, this conversation is super interesting for men as well, because it goes both ways. Like women get shamed for their number, but men get praised for it and pressured into it. I know
almost encouraged, I want to say.
Exactly.
To have that fuckboy phase, it's like normal. What about men that have been in relationship from a young age, like, like high school sweethearts or whatever? You come out of a 7-10 year relationship, you've had 1 or 2 partners. That doesn't you probably know more because you've been in the same person with the same, if they communicated properly. But you probably know more about what women like than someone that has had 1 night stand what they didn't communicate with. So doesn't know where the clit is.
So true. And if you have that same situation for men and women, so both got together, only had like 1 or 2 sexual partners, went out of that relationship at 10 years. The sad thing is that women would probably hear, oh, that's nice, that's good of you. And then men would hear, oh, damn, only 1. Like, how do you know what's out there if you've only tried 1? How do you buy a car without, what is it again? Oh no, that's about test driving.
Is that
right?
testing?
Like, exactly. Something like that. And how do you know if you don't test multiple cars, like stuff like that? I hate women getting compared to cars, but
no. I've seen that meme recently about people saying like sex before marriage, which is different but similar conversation. I guess you can jump in there, but they were saying something about you need to test drive the car before, because if you wait until marriage and then you realize you're not compatible, what do you do?
But do people also say that about the men,
and
though?
men saying that.
Do people also say that about the men, though, or do they just compare women?
I can't remember.
Because I feel like it's only that way around, where people tell the guys like you need to test drive, and to women like, oh no, it's fine. Like you don't have to see his dick before you marry him. But yeah,
you do.
I love that. Yeah, you do. Or
I didn't mean that in like any
I know
way or anything bad way.
Like I know that I
can make anything work, but you need to see if that works.
Exactly. And also I believe in sexual compatibility a lot. So I've had partners that I was just like, okay, I don't know why this is, but we're just not really compatible, and it just doesn't work as well as it did with someone else. And I want to be married for 50 plus years. So I need to be sexual compatible with you, because I'm gonna have sex with you when I'm 80, you know? Like that's the goal.
I think I can relate to that.
Yeah. And like if I haven't
that's what I want to
tried that out, then it's just a guess. Like how can I know that I want to be with you if I haven't tried that very important part, I feel. So let's
it's
go
very
back
important in your relationship.
Let's go back to the topic for a second, because there's also a lot of myths about
I was
people who have a lot of sex
as well.
So can you tell me what are the ones you know?
I remember being extremely shocked when I was working in the rugby clubs. I had some of them on like Facebook friends, and they start tagging each other in a meme, which are two different hand sandwiches. One is closed and one is open, and they're meant to represent vulva shapes, saying that a woman that has been fucking around or having a bit more of a sex life as her vulva changing and like becoming more loose. How does that make sense? So wait, if you're in a relationship with one partner for about 10 years and you have sex with him, let's say every day, let's just put it out there, nothing changes.
Try, aim high.
But if you have 100 partners, it becomes looser down there. Like, what the fuck? It's just physiologically impossible. That made me so angry.
That says a lot about how big guys think that their penis is. Like, I'm sorry, but that won't stretch me out, dude. It won't. Like, not a chance. Like, I can push a baby through that hole. You know that, right? You know that, right? And your dick is not going to do anything to that. Nothing. And then also a meme like that, I'm like, wait, do those people who made that meme know that the vulva and the vagina are two different things? So
that's where I'm at.
To be clear, like the vulva is the outside, it's like the outer side of the shape. The shape, exactly. Basically. And then the vagina is the actual hole. The hole in which
the worst part is I didn't know when I watched this and I thought it was true. This is where I got even more angry, because when I became a stripper is the first time I saw another woman's vagina. And I was like, oh, we have different shapes. Interesting.
We have different shapes.
I didn't even know.
Shapes. So that is definitely a myth crazy that I never get. Like,
and I think a lot of men think
ignorance.
That too.
What's sorry?
It is ignorance. Sorry, I didn't mean to but same. No. I think a lot of men think that too, don't realize that there's like different vulva shapes when there's so many and colors and all of that.
And it's the same for dicks. Solve that if we got educated on this in school. I remember in biology where you just had a picture of one very porno-like vulva that I was like, well, mine doesn't look like that, does it? That's not the same. And also, so kind of related to this myth, when like women have a lot of sex, it stretches them out. Let's say that they were anatomically correct and they said it would stretch out your vagina, not your vulva, your vagina. that I feel like, there was this period in time where Kegel exercises. Do you know what that is?
Yes,
Exactly.
I do.
Where Kegel exercises were like massive. And I know that in France, I think, or that's what we were told in France, they give this to women after they give birth to train. Yeah, to retrain your vagina to make it more tight.
Vagina muscles.
Exactly.
Because Kegel are basically, the way I was taught is like, just try to hold your pee when you're in the bathroom. So like 2 or 3 times when you want to go. So you're
really?
like working on the muscles, or like at the red light, for example, hold it 5 to 10
or
times.
You can do it now
every day.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah, you can do it now, but I know this is how I was taught. You're doing it now.
I'm doing it now. Okay, done. Okay. Do you see my face turn red? I was tensing that shit, I was trying to hold it.
You must have strong muscles there.
Yeah, but like I remember that I thought it was with like an egg kind of thing that you had to like put it in your vagina and like hold it.
Yoni egg. I have one. Yes.
Yeah, but like I felt, or that's what we were told, like, yeah, in France you get that from your prescribed from your doctor, which is basically a sex toy. Can we talk about that?
Where was I in France?
Where was I? I missed this.
I thought I was from there.
When did you have a baby, Lu? So, yeah, I feel like that also became a whole thing to like encourage, like, okay, yeah, women need to have a tight vagina. And it started off good. Like it started off, okay, after you had a baby, it's nice to like tense the muscle back up, because otherwise you're going to have another, like a whole other set of health problems if all the muscles down there are loose and are not working properly, because then, yes, you can't hold your pee. And yes, like everything is not going to be great when you walk and stuff. And you might get a sore lower back. You might get a lot of problems. So I get why that should be a thing, or would be nice if that was a thing after childbirth, because I feel like it could prevent a lot of very nasty health problems. But in my case, like at some point, it just got this whole other life where, oh yeah, you should use that to make your vagina nice and tight, especially if you've slept with a lot of people. That was like a whole like thing that went on when I remember talking about this with girlfriends, like, oh yeah, that would be nice, like make it nice and tight because that's nice. And now I'm just like, I don't know what people think, but that muscle is one of the strongest ones in our bodies. It doesn't just start flapping around. Like it doesn't, especially not with
real.
Tiny
yes. We're not throwing shade here.
No, but anyway, not at all.
Yeah, it's all about shaming us, and like we need to reclaim our sexuality and like understand that it's not exactly, it's very personal to everyone, and no matter how we experience our sexuality, it doesn't make us more promiscuous or frigid. Like
exactly,
two extremes. But yeah, everyone has different stories and context about everything, so
exactly
important to know that.
Yeah,
and what really matters.
Yes. No, tell me what does really matter, Lu? Tell me.
Let's focus on what really matters, Lili.
Yes. Oh shit, what's that?
Yes, what really
having
matters.
Over 100 sex partners, that's what really matters. No kidding. That's the end of our podcast. Bye. Bye. The end. See you next week.
No. Yes. What really matters is consent, respect between each other.
Exactly.
Actually knowing if it's safe to engage in sexual activity with each other, and protection. And I think we should stop focusing on judging other people, women and men, for their choices, and focus on what matters instead.
I preach. Mic drop. If only I could drop this mic, but I'm not going to. No. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And may I add one thing to that?
Yes,
all the things that you just said, 100% agree with that. But can we also work on making those things sexy? Because I feel like when you say consent, when you say safe, blah blah blah, people,
it sounds boring. People
exactly.
Feel like
people go ahead and assume that it's wow. Look at me talking Dutch. Sigh. Boring.
Don't pick it up.
Just like,
this
okay,
word.
okay.
Just like keep going.
Exactly. So people feel like that is something boring, but since I started focusing on consent, since I started focusing on pleasure for both, since I started focusing on safe and the connection with someone, my sex life has gotten exponentially better. Like I've never had the amount of good sex I have now, like the last year or two, because I've focused on the things that really matter. So I would really hope that everyone does that. And to help you out, next week, we are going to talk about consent. I'm really excited about that one.
I'm excited as well. Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a longer one.
Exactly. Also, it might be a bit of a complicated one because I feel like there's so much to talk about and there's so many different angles. It's
not black or white.
Exactly.
There's a lot of gray areas. I think we need to preface that next week. Yes.
Yeah. I'm already scared to even say that there's a lot of gray areas because then people are going to be like, yes, I can rape someone. No, you can't. No, you can't. There's no gray area there. But yeah, this was it for today. What's your number? How do you feel about this episode?
Yes.
Send
us some comments, notes.
Yes, exactly. Let us know. We would like to hear your reviews, what you would like to hear more after the consent episode. And thank you for listening. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.